Alright, so now that we have the event, let's go ahead and implement the game state. Once more, this will be an abstract class, so let's go back to our project and right click, add new item, and we're gonna be creating a new class. So class Visual C#, and we're gonna call it game state. Okay, let's remember to make it public, and we're gonna make it abstract. So public abstract. Also, we're gonna make it generic, so we want to be able to use it for any kind of owner that we like. So let's go ahead and create our first method, public abstract, and this will be our onEnter. And the onEnter is called right before the state gets entered. So this is where you want to perform any sort of initialization logic for your state. So if you want to set some variables so that you get ready for the execution of the state, this is where you would do it. Let's go ahead and document this so we don't forget. Okay. Next, let's go ahead and implement our onUpdate method, and this is where we're going to delegate all the update logic for your owner at this given state. So this is where you will implement any sort of logic that you want to perform or update for your owner for this state. And we want to give it access to the game time object so that we can get the time if we need it. So don't forget to make it using XNA framework so that we can have access to it in this class. And again, this is going to be we will perform all the logic for this state on every tick or on every update of your game. Let's go ahead and document this again so that we can always look back if we forget. Let's go ahead and also delegate the draw. So we want to create another abstract method, and we're going to call it onDraw, so that we delegate the drawing of the owner for a given state to this method. So this is where you're going to perform all the drawing that you may want to execute at this given state. We want to give it access to the sprite batch object so that we can paint to it. Essentially, this is where you would do things like drawing a different sprite for your entity in the case of it being poison versus being paralyzed. This is where you would do that sort of thing. Or in the case of this issue, we'll use it for displaying different states of our game altogether. So let's go ahead and document this one more time. So far we have done 3 of the methods that we need: onEnter, onUpdate, and onDraw. Let's go ahead and look back to our diagram, and we gotta do the onExit and onEvent. So onExit kind of works out as the opposite as onEnter. Essentially, this is where you perform any sort of things you would like to uninitialize or you would like to clear at the end of your state. So if there's anything you would like to clean up, this would be the place to do it. So let's make sure we're making notes so we don't forget. finally we're going to have an onEvent method. So this is our last abstract method, and this is where you will have the logic for handling the events that we will create through our game. In this section you will not handle every event, but you will have the logic for handling the events that you would like to take care of in this given state. So let's document that. Also, let's correct this because event is not a valid word, it's actually a keyword, so let's give it another name. Event should do. So again, this is where you're going to handle the events that take place while this state is active. So if you like the state to interact or react to a given event, this is where you will implement that logic. Okay, so far we have our onEnter, onUpdate, we got an onDraw, we got our exit so that we can have our cleanup, and finally our onEvent. Now if we go back to the diagram, we can see in our UML diagram we have onEnter, onUpdate, onDraw, onExit, so we're pretty much done with that class.